Hey, 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 everyone. Thanks for coming on. It's Shelly Deccan with Chalk Couture, and it's time for me to do the big reveal of the clock home design that I did from my find. I'm going to show you the end results, and then we're going to get into how I put it all together. So here it is. I'm so thrilled with it. I hope you can see it. I was able to do the home sign and add some flowers to the clock. The clock is working. The glass is not in there, but I think with the flowers, it doesn't really matter. I think it's just absolutely adorable. This was one that I was planning on selling, but I'm not sure that I'm going to. I might actually put it up on my wall. So I will get right into doing up the chalking for the home, and we will see you in a moment. Hey everyone, so here we are. For those of you who've been following me, you know that I bought ornate wrought iron sign that had a clock in it. I took it all apart and I have spray painted it a beautiful color. Also, I took out this board, which actually had another saying on it that I didn't like, and I spray painted it white. Now, the ironic thing was when I pulled out the clock mechanism, I actually broke the glass. So I've been on Pinterest taking a look at what other kind of things I can do with the space where the clock goes. And I think you're going to be quite excited to see what I've done. But before I put it all together and show you the whole project completed, it's time to get chalking. So today, what we're going to put on my beautiful board here is a nice home sign. And it's two parts. One is the definition of what home is, and the other is actually the word home. And I'm going to do it in this absolutely gorgeous navy blue. I think it's called midnight blue. And yeah, it's just beautiful. So we're going to give it a try here and see how things look, and wish me luck. Because as I said, I'm not doing anything. I'm not making anything that you guys can't see me do, so that you get to see whether or not I make any mistakes. We're going to start off with the actual word home. Of course, I've written home on the back so I don't get my stencils screwed up or upside down. I'm going to peel it off. Again, making sure not to stretch it. So although I start at the corner, I don't pull it off of anything until I'm actually at the center side, so that I don't stretch out the fabric, which is what the stencil is created on. Next thing you do is you have to fuzz it up, as I've said. We're going to fuzz it up to make sure that it doesn't stick. Oh, and by the way, I took some wax. I'm using this wax. And I waxed the surface. The idea is to make sure that my stencil doesn't get damaged, because when you paint something, there's always the chance that the paint's going to lift with the sticky stuff. So they suggest that you put down this Minwax. I actually let it sit for, well, I don't know, probably about 6 hours, although some people say that it can be used right away. I didn't want to start the project right away, so that gave it some time to sit and cure. So let's hope that my transfer doesn't get stretched while it's sitting on here. Here we go. First part. I'm going to put home on, and I'm going to center it. And for anybody who knows me, I'm centering it by hand. There's no ruler going on here. I'm fairly good at it. I was doing it with my vinyl lettering before. But I think that the idea when you decide that you want to do something like this is the fact that it is homemade. So all those little imperfections, they're what make it special when you give it as a gift or you sell it. You know, perfection is not all that it's cracked up to be. And of course you want it to be as close to straight as possible, but don't get hung up on it being perfect, guys. It's art really isn't about that. And my art teacher in Barry would tell you I'm a little anal, but not as bad as a lot of other people that I know. So anyways, here we go. I'm taking a good hefty amount, sticking it on here. And then you swipe it across, as I said before, making sure that you cover the all of the words to make sure that it actually gets pushed onto the surface that you're adding it to. Get rid of that extra paint. There's no use on wasting it. Wow, this blue is going to look gorgeous. And I guess we're going to see whether or not it'll come off the stencil. My understanding is that as long as it comes off the screen, you can keep using the stencil, no problem at all. But sometimes off the screen on the sides and stuff, it can actually stain the stencil. It's not supposed to do any damage. You're supposed to be able to continue working on it the way that you have all along. So we're going to see how clean I can get this. Now the upside is I have some of these which are used to remove your project if you want to take it back down to the chalkboard. But it's also really good for ghosting and getting stuff like that off. So here we go. We got it all covered and we are going to pull it off and take a look at our handiwork. Oh my goodness. Now that is sharp. That is sharp, sharp, sharp. Could not ask for anything better than that. I'm just going to put this stencil in some water. I'll be right back. One of the things that you have to do when you're using two stencils and you're going to be concerned that it's going to overlap onto the one that you've just done is you got to make sure that you dry the product. I have this small little travel hair dryer. I'm just going to run it for a few minutes on, it won't stay open, on this, and let's get her a little dry. Well, that didn't take very long. It's definitely dry to the touch. Not getting anything back on it. So here we go. Part 2. A place where you can rest your head and your heart and everything feels safe. The place where the people you care about live, where you're not alone. That's the second part of this home stencil. I think that's very cute. And, you know, I might actually put this whole project up on my wall instead of selling it. I guess time will tell. Just trying to get the stencil removed from the backing. It keeps coming up, but I'm losing it. There we go. There we go. And as you can see, I've put my words on the back to make sure that I don't get it mixed up. And all I'm doing right now is just fuzzing up my stencil so that it won't stick. And that wax seems to have worked just perfectly. I didn't have any problems getting that stencil up off the wood, and it definitely didn't peel any of my paint off. Now, what I will say is I literally spray painted this board, and to do that, of course, I've only got a small balcony out back, and I didn't want paint everywhere, so I just took one of the boxes that all of my Chalk Coat Sheer product has been coming in, and I used it as a spray box, and yeah, it worked out quite nicely. The other thing is I used 2 different colors. So the color of this board is a white, and the color that I spray painted the cast iron is actually a kind of a creamy color. And I'm just going to rough it up with, what do you call it? Sandpaper. That's the word. I'm going to use sandpaper to just rough up the edges and give it that real old-fashioned look to it. So here we go. Again, I am placing it with love. I am going to stand up to take a look and make sure that it's straight, because we are dealing with a longer sentence, so it's really going to show if it's crooked. But you know what? I am so good that that is straight as can be. So here we go. I am, as you have seen before, going to put this under, not because I think it's wet, but just so that I'm not applying too much pressure on my work that I'd already completed. So here we go. We're just pushing it down. This is nice and flat, very easy to do. And you just want to make sure there are no bubbles wherever the words are so that nothing can leak underneath your screen, because that would be horrible for this. This is just turning out beautiful. And with all of the letters being that much smaller, there's just that much more chance that you wouldn't be able to read it. So I definitely want to get as sharp of a look as possible. All right, here we go. Take my paste and my handy dandy little squeegee. And this paste seems to be a little bit more liquidier than my other pastes. They just, some of them hold their liquid a little bit more than others. So I'm just going to put that much on and I'm going to see how far I can go with it. The really nice thing about this blue is that you can see it so much in contrast with what's there that you can absolutely see where I'm missing the letters and where I've actually got it covered. So that's fantastic. There's no chance that I'm going to have letters there that didn't actually get covered. Take all the excess paint, stick it back in the jar so that it can be used. The fun thing about the fact that you can reuse this paint is you get like 15 uses. And I've seen people on some of my Facebook sites saying that they're getting, 20 uses out of the paint. So it depends on how thick it goes on and all those other things. Now, before I do anything, I want to make sure I don't have anything on my hands. Everything's nice and dry or gone so that I don't transfer my paint onto the board. But here we go. One last check to make sure I've got everything covered. Oh, look at that. So sharp. Man, this screening is just beautiful. I would never have been able to get stenciling that small onto my project. Just so easy like that. I'm going to place this into the water bath and I will be back with you in a moment. So what do you think? I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I will turn it around here so that you can actually, I don't know if you're seeing it right side up or upside down, but I just think it's gorgeous. The blue color just stands right out against the white. Can't wait to put it in my frame and fancy up the area where the clock used to be. Once I get that put together, I will upload everything and you will get to see how beautiful this is. So again, as before, if this is something that you think, wow, I would love to be screen painting on stuff that I have or just learn how to do it, I'm happy to have conversations with you if you'd like to connect with me. If you're the type of person who just loves to craft and is happy to dig right in, you can, of course, go to my website that I will put in the link. Go in there, order your stuff, have it delivered directly to your home. And if you are in the Victoria area, I still have 2 seats left for my Chalk It Up to the Wine party next Wednesday, which is the 5th of June. It's going to be right here in my building at Dagwood's Cafe from 7 to 9. And if that's of interest to you, I would love to get you in there. There are only 8 seats. This will be my first workshop, so I want to make sure we're doing it with a small group of women. So don't miss out if you're in the Victoria area and you want to see what this is about and give this a try. I would love to put you down for one of those 8 seats. Until next time, have a great day.